like he was everywhere on the field. Maybe through, I know it's early in the season, but maybe through 2 weeks of this season compared to last year, maybe where has he changed? Where have you seen him grow the most on the field?
Well, I've seen him grow the most as a leader, as far as his role and him embracing that role. Because last year at this time he was a guy that was new to the system, new as a starter, and trying to figure it out, and has put a lot of effort and a lot of sweat equity in, and he's starting to see some of the results of that, and real proud of him. And at the same time, can continue to push him, and he's going to push himself to get better because that's what we got to do. But really proud of him.
Yeah, Ted, you guys threw so much at Peyton Bowen initially, and what have you learned from him now through the first two games, and he's been live in action, and what he's been able to do?
Yeah, we've learned that football really makes sense to him. He's very instinctive. He's got a lot of pride in his performance, and the moment's not too big for him. Just put me in, coach. Tell me what to do, and I'll do it. He's that guy, and yeah, I know he's got a high ceiling and a really bright future.
Okay, Eli.
Ted, you had some 2 strong performances on defense to open the season. You had some last September. You're talking about a defense you feel is better and different from a year ago. How do you separate fact from fiction this time of year?
Look at depth, competitive depth, as far as how that goes. Yeah, I mean, we're just starting out. We're by no means a finished product, and we haven't arrived or any of that stuff. We're just a work in progress that's going to go out and grind every day, and that's the attitude that our staff and our players have, and it's all about, incremental improvement. And we've got to get better because we left some plays out on the field the other night, some situations where we had opportunities to get off the field and didn't, and we got to close the door right there.
James?
Ted, when Kevin Wilson was here, he had one of the best college offenses in
Yeah.
college football with Sam and Adie and those guys. I know he's down the road a little bit here, but he's always been a great offensive mind.
Yes, he has.
See that at Tulsa and what Kevin's doing now.
A lot of multiplicity. Kevin's a smart coach that knows how to attack defenses. He sees the game real well and is an excellent play caller. And throughout my career, I've always had a lot of respect for him and the job that he does.
Is he running tempo? Is he trying to do that like he did here?
Yeah, some. Yeah, he's doing a lot. He's doing a lot of things right now, and yeah, which makes it tough to prepare for.
Eric?
Ted, can you talk about how disciplined the defense is when SMU kind of went to a bag of tricks with the fumble risky, with the flea flicker, with the reverse? It really seemed like the defense wasn't fooled and stayed disciplined.
No, our guys prepared, and they did a good job of recognizing things the other night, and playing the responsibility, because every defense has a responsibility and job description. And when sometimes guys try to make plays or there's busts, that's when those things happen. And but our guys had disciplined eyes for the most part. And again, we got to get better at it. But for the most part, they had disciplined eyes, and were able to do a good job against those type of plays.
Switch gears and ask you about Robert Spears-Jennings getting out there and get some playing time.
Yeah.
Good to see him out there again.
It was great to see him out there again. Coming off his shoulder injury, but he came in and gave us a spark, and it was good to see. And I anticipate his role, increasing and progressing as we go, as he earns it.
Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah, Ted, going into the game, we said, hey, this is good offense.
Yeah.
Jones, good quarterback, all these things. Coming out of it, your critics might say, well, they weren't as good as we thought. Is that a message you sort of translate to your defense, that also, you turn negative on a team just to keep the guys on edge, or do you salute them and say, hey, great job?
I think what you do is you tell them the truth. You point out the good and what we did good, and you also point out the bad and try and get it fixed and take it off the tape. So just tell them the truth. And SMU is a good offense, but there were some plays that we left out there that we got to get better.
Ryan? On the whole, only 4 rushes allowed through 2 games of 10 yards or more. Did a pretty good job of limiting kind of the big play in the running game. What have you seen that's been able to have that kind of click early on for you guys?
I've seen guys be a little more disciplined as far as how that goes, and to be able to trust in the fit, trust in the defense, because sometimes get caught guys, they know their responsibility and their gap, and they get caught in the middle of a play trying to look over a blocker and peek and try and find a ball carrier, as opposed to just doing their job and letting the defense work for them. And we've seen a lot more examples of that, and that needs to continue to grow and get better.
Got a lot of young linebackers. How hard is it to prevent those guys, get that into their head early on in their career to just do your part?
Yeah, it's hard because they're used to in high school, where you can get away with that, and where they're better athletes, they're better players, and to be able to peek and look around or jump around a block at times and get out of their gap and make a play, and they were right. But at this level, you got to do things exactly the right way, or else it'll get taken advantage of. Sure.
Okay, way back, John Hoover.
Yeah, it's a coaching philosophy question for you here. You guys have shown obvious improvements in several areas, tackling and coverage and speed at which guys are recognizing things. As a coach, you want more, you want perfection, you're striving for that, but how do you kind of balance that? How do you kind of say, hey, you guys are doing a great job, but we need you to do this. Then 3 minutes tackles, we need to have 0.
Well, I think you look at the tape, because the tape doesn't lie. And, again, you go back and certainly you recognize the things that you did well. And at the same time, a lot of coaches are copycat coaches, and you got to fix the mistakes, and so you can take them off the tape, because if you don't, there'll be underlying issues that'll haunt you each and every week, and it'll cost you games and those types of things. So we've got to take the bad stuff off the tape, and that's the way it is. That's the process. Sure.
Any more questions for Coach Roof? James, second row.
Coach, the defense kind of get to a big run early on in the game, and Key Lawrence was able to stick his hand there and force that fumble. What were some of the things you kind of said to him after that? Congratulating him and things like that.
Well, great job chasing the ball, because the championship strain's a big deal, and we've got to play with strain, and that's you take that one off the tape and you show it. Okay, here's what it looks like. Punching at the ball, finishing the play, those types of things. So, yeah, it was a big play in the game. Anytime you get a takeaway, the momentum. But if you looked at it, right, it was contact with the ball, then it was population at the ball. We had a guy keep it in bounds and another guy there to get on it. So we had contact with the ball, and we had more population at the ball than they did. So as a result of that, we got a takeaway.
Third row, Dave.
Coach, the D-line seemed to get pressured in the second half. Was that calls or just guys winning one-on-ones?
Well, we've seen a lot of 7-man protection here the last couple of weeks, and a lot of it was guys, staying after it and coming free. And even though we didn't get sacks, we got pressures, where he forced him to throw or move him off his spot before he was ready to. So it was a combination of the two, but guys just eventually keep fighting and work through it.
Back to the front, Eli.
Ted, you guys leaned really heavily on the 3 linebackers you were starting last year. Obviously, Kip's production, that's to be exciting, but to just have a guy who can help spell Danny, Jaron, anybody, give those guys breaks, what does that do for you in the fourth quarter of a game like you had this week where you need to make?
Well, I think it does a lot for you in the fourth quarter, and a lot for you as the season moves along, because all those reps are cumulative, and they have cumulative effects, and so having depth to be able to rotate guys and get guys, not just mop up reps, but meaningful reps when the game's in balance. That's a critical part of the deal, and again, that helps your locker room. It helps your practice field, because when you tell guys, hey, you're going to play. I wish it wasn't, but it is. The way that human nature goes, guys just have a little bit more of a sense of urgency. You don't want it to be that way, but that's the way human nature is, and you try and coach against that, but that's just, the way it is. So I think it helps in a lot of areas with morale, with, again, a sense of urgency to prepare. And but, we've said all along since I started coaching day one, hey, you're 1 ankle away from playing the whole game, or if it was a third teamer, you're 2 ankles away from playing the entire game. So, I mean, that hadn't changed, but to be able to do that and then, rotate guys, because we want to rotate guys. We want to play people. And at the same time, you have to earn that. You have to earn the right to play. And we've had several guys that have earned that right.
James Hale.
Usually early in the year, defensively, we're not a great tackling team, but you guys have been a really good tackling team. Talk about that, and how well do you feel like you guys have been tackling?
I think we've tackled better, but certainly not where we want to be. And, you know, getting back to the strain part of it, when you strain and you have population at the ball and you do miss a tackle, you cover it. You can cover it up, and the finish of plays can erase a lot of mistakes. And you know, that's one of the reasons why, you know, we emphasize that so much, and demand it, and our players understand the value of it. So, yeah.
Anything else? Eric, Bailey?
Ted, when you're in the coach's box, what's it like in those 60 to 90 seconds when you're waiting for a targeting call to be reviewed, and you're just wondering if you're going to have your player, you're not going to have your player? I'm thinking about when Danny had the flag against him. What's going through your mind?
You're getting ready to get the next guy in, getting ready for the next call situationally, personnel, all those things. You know, because there's nothing that we can do that's going to influence the call. So you've got to get the next guy ready, and at the same time get the next call ready, and understand the situation.
Are you studying the video just like everyone else in the stadium, trying to figure out if it's the right call, if you're going to have your player? Or
No, I'm on to the next thing, because I can yell and scream and raise all the cane I want to in the press box, and that won't influence nothing. Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, appreciate it. Yeah.